Yeah. So I think we can start now.
Yes.
We'll start. We are here. Yeah, it's time. Yeah.
You are the leader of the organizing team, so it's your call now.
No, I think because we have very wonderful panel here, so I think we'll start now.
I could
So
hear them
we'll have
chatting
some
in Bengali.
Yeah. So good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all to this second session of She Inspires, and I welcome you all on behalf of IIT Delhi Alumni Association. So She Inspires is actually a series to inspire the IIT alum women community, action, empowerment, and courage. It is designed for women who are committed to standing tall, living bravely, dreaming big, and celebrating life fully. So very pleased, we have a very esteemed panel today in form of three esteemed panelists, Professor Ritu Goswami Kataki, Dr. Monica Banerjee, and we have with us Mrs. Pooja Arun Kumar. So for the introductory address, I would like to invite Mr. Madan, a fellow VC member and Director Skillmark India. So Mr. Madan, please.
Thank you, Gitanjali, for giving me this opportunity to say a few words to this really lovely panel. And the topic is also very interesting. First of all, let me wish you all a good afternoon and welcome to this She Inspires. Well, it has always been the woman who inspires. I mean, I'm sure you all have heard of the proverb, behind every successful man, there is a woman. Yeah. Am I right or not? Yeah. Had she not been there, I don't think the men would have been successful. The only thing is that the success of the man has always been celebrated, whereas the woman's success has always been celebrated in silence. Yeah. And I think that was the space a woman was looking as the society started progressing. Yeah. They wanted to assert their place in the society. But there is no doubt that she has always been inspiring. The whole world, as they say, man, a woman is the Lakshmi, and the whole world revolves around Lakshmi, isn't it? So there you are. A woman has always been inspiring. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Yeah. Anyway, I welcome all the three panelists, and I'm sure their experience, their sharing their life journey would be inspiring to the other upcoming ladies. And if it is for the alumni, anybody who has made it to the IIT certainly deserves a big pat on the back. They have already made a mark in their life. Only thing is probably this talk probably will make them go a step higher than where they are today. Yeah. I'm sure that will happen. Yeah. I welcome Rita Goswami Katki, Pooja Arun Kumar, and Dr. Monica Banerjee. Welcome to all three of you, and we look forward to your lovely chat this afternoon. Yeah. Thank you very much. I hand over to Dr. Gitanjali once again. Yeah. Thank you, Gitanjali.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Madan, for the introductory note. Thank you. And I am very pleased now to welcome Professor Ritu. She is 1976 batch, MSc Chemistry, IITD. And growing up in Shillong, Professor Ritu went to Loreto Convent, a girls' school. And after undertaking undergraduate and postgraduate work at IIT Delhi, she completed her PhD at Newcastle University in 1987. And she is the first female ethnic minority professor of physical and analytical chemistry in the Department of Chemistry at Durham University, United Kingdom. Her research has led to collaborations with SMEs and leading companies. She is founder director of Smart Biofilms Limited, a spin-off company based on R&D in the group. In addition to her academic work, she is involved in equality and diversity related work in the university and the Royal Society of Chemistry. She is also a trained yoga teacher and has taught in yoga festivals in UK with particular interest in yoga practices for addressing unconscious bias. So warm welcome, Professor Ritu. And it is our pleasure to welcome you today. And ma'am, we first of all would like to know about your journey.
Thank you, Gitanjali, and thank you, IITD Alumni Association for inviting me. It's my pleasure to say a little bit about myself. It's been a long journey and it's been a difficult journey. It's always difficult for a woman in STEM subjects. And a woman from ethnic minorities in UK, it's particularly difficult. I started my journey in India, in Shillong, where I went to a girls' school where science was not a priority. It was mainly English literature and subjects like that. I wanted to do medicine. I got admission into medical college, but somehow it didn't happen. For a while, I regretted it. But now, towards the end of my career, I don't regret it one bit. My journey has been exciting. It's been tough. It's been uphill. I did my PhD at Newcastle University under Professor Arthur Covington, who really supported me. During my PhD, I had 2 children, with 2 babies. Can you imagine? You need the support. And my mother came and helped me. She stayed with me for 6 months each time I had a baby. However, because of the support of my supervisor and my colleagues, I managed to complete my PhD in 4.5 years instead of 3.5 years, 1 year extra. And then I didn't go to the traditional track of going away abroad to Harvard and Oxford, Cambridge to do my postdoc because I couldn't. However, I had an opportunity locally in Durham University to do a postdoc. I did it part-time and that led to a fellowship. And beyond that, the journey just took me on and on and on upwards. Many obstacles in my career, both top down and bottom up. There were some very, very aggressive and prejudiced, can I say, male professors who did their best to stop my progress, thinking that, oh, she's a woman, ethnic minority, so there was that sort of prejudice at that time. And bottom up, there were some students who complained about my accent and all sorts of things. However, I persevered and I had support as well from a few professors. What a wonderful journey it's been. As I progressed in my career and the international community recognized me, I found that girls from underprivileged backgrounds in particular opted to come to my group to study. I have seen girls from the African continent, one from South Africa, from a very backward community, from Congo, whose parents had to escape the country, and another African girl came from a family of drug addicts. Then there have been students from all over the world, from about 21 different countries who joined my group as PhD students, as researchers, as postdocs. And I feel so proud that they are now in established positions working for companies. So you shouldn't judge a person by what you see. Sometimes these girls and from disadvantaged backgrounds just need a little bit of encouragement, and they shine. And I would like to say this for all students in India as well who aspire to do STEM. Please don't give up. I mean, STEM subjects are seen as difficult and challenging. But let me tell you that once you get there, the rewards are enormous. I've met so many people from different countries. I've been to so many countries. I've had such a variety of interactions with people from all over the world, young and experienced, that I would definitely recommend that if you wish to do STEM subjects, if it interests you, then please go ahead. Don't hesitate. And it's not as difficult as it seems. Because of my journey, it's been a difficult, tough journey uphill in a red brick university in UK. I was very stressed. So the way to deal with stress is to have something, a work-life balance. So I trained as a yoga teacher with British Wheel of Yoga. And believe me, I learned more about our culture in the British Wheel of Yoga than I knew when I was back in India. All sorts of, the significance of Om and the significance of all sorts of different aspects of our Hindu philosophy, which was really exciting. And now here I am starting a startup company towards the end of my academic career virtually, but I hope to carry on with my startup company. I am doing a lot of STEM activity related work. And I I feel good about myself. So thank you. That's it really from me. If there's any
Thank you,
questions, and
Professor
I'm willing
Ritu.
to take questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one question that do you like how your journey specifically at IIT Delhi, how like it transformed you, or how you like like you actually say a few words about that journey,
Yeah.
your stay at IIT, professors like whom you would like to remember today, who
Yeah.
supported you during those times. So few lines about that.
Right. Yes, IIT Delhi was a terrific experience for me, um, both in the social aspect and academic. It was intense. The academic work was intense, but certainly launched my career. There are a few professors that I do remember, and I'm still in touch with Professor I.K. Verma, who taught us organic chemistry. She just recently lost her husband, but she's still in touch with me on WhatsApp. She was excellent. There was Professor Vardarajan, who supported me. There was also, we were 40 girls and there were about 5,000 boys, and we sometimes had a lot of unwanted attention. And I could always go to Professor Vardarajan and just tell her, this is what's happened and what should I do? That was wonderful. We had some excellent teachers. I remember Professor Aluwalia, who taught us statistical thermodynamics, such a difficult subject, and he made it seem so easy. And there was Professor Bhutani, who was my project supervisor. Very kind gentleman who really helped me as well. And my friends and colleagues, I'm still in touch with them. We have an excellent WhatsApp group whenever I go to Delhi or Bangalore or Bombay or even in the States or even in London or wherever I meet them. So both socially and academically, it has been a wonderful experience.
Any advice you want to give to the people who have just graduated and the alums? Any, because you've seen the academic life, now you're an entrepreneur, so
Yes.
you are like the best person to give advice.
Yeah, well, academic life, as I told you, in UK, for an ethnic minority female or any ethnic minority in universities like Durham University is challenging, especially in my time. But nowadays there are several other people coming up. I think these questions of racial prejudice and gender bias are being addressed, and I have seen advance in the past decade or so. Certainly not like the times when I was trying to rise in my career. As I said before, if you are engaged in the STEM subjects and you want to be an academic, it's wonderful. You really will come across such a vibrant international community that you will not regret it. And as I'm just launching on my commercial career, I've done training. There are training aspects here, future founders courses, and there's a UK Innovate there now. There was a postdoc working with me. She's doing a course on how to set up a business and pitching events and things. So, and now we are sort of just launching, just starting up. So maybe in a couple of years, I will be able to tell you if we succeed or not.
No, I am sure you will.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So
we wish you all the good
inspiring
luck. Yeah.
journey.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
very,
thank
very
you.
inspiring journey,
Thank
Professor
you.
Ritu. And
Thank you.
wonderful having you with us. And I'm
Thank
sure
you.
if there are any questions, we'll take them up once the
Yes,
entire panel
of
comes.
course.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Professor.
Thank you.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Dr. Gitanjali. I have another meeting to attend, so I'll take your leave. I wish all the panelists good luck and hope to see you very soon on some other platform of or another program of She Inspires. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much.
And
Thank you so much,
bye-bye.
Mr.
Bye.
Madan. Wonderful having you. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah. And now it is my pleasure to welcome Dr. Monica Banerjee, 2004 PhD. Dr. Banerjee has an experience of promoting social enterprises for more than 2 decades. She's been associated with philanthropy and corporate social responsibility since the beginning of her development career. Her multidisciplinary background has enabled her to analyze and practices from the field with an academic rigor. Currently, she heads the Interglobe Foundation, Dr. Banerjee has helped in seeding, nurturing around 100 social organizations in her career span. She has written extensively for research journals, books, and newspapers. Her intellectual interests are inclusion, gender, and institution building. She was a visiting fellow at the London School of Economics in 2006. She is also an Aspire Fellow, a leadership cohort of 200 leaders from the corporate and social sector. In her free time, she does conversations around books through literary forums, observes nature, and dabbles into poetry in Hindi, a language she loves. Welcome, Dr. Banerjee. Wonderful to have you with us today. And my first request to you would be, please share your journey.
Thank you. Thank you. We have been calling each other through our formal names, but let me call you as Gitanjali now, because there's a certain amount of informality that we already have started experiencing. So thank you, Gitanjali. Thank you so much. It was lovely hearing Professor Ritu Kottuki. I think there is already that kind of, I scribble in my notebook with regards to what she said. And Gitanjali, if I am to begin my journey, this journey, I would like to take you and all other people, all audience here, 25 years back when I started my journey from a small town in Upper Assam called Jorhat. I was born and bred there until my master's in agricultural sciences. I went to the Assam Agriculture University. I was a valedictorian there, but somehow, so there is one reality of what Professor Kottuki spoke about being an ethnic minority in UK and how that was so difficult. There is another reality of internal migrants and migration in this country. Of course, this story of migration came upon us in the last 2 years more severely during the pandemic, during the lockdown. But the story of migration has been continuing. Somehow it doesn't come to the public display, to public, to the public discourse often. But here is a story of being internal migrants. My father was a first-time migrant to Assam. He migrated, an original native of West Bengal. His migration was in Bihar, and from Bihar he had migrated to Jorhat, to Assam, to teach in a college and a department which he co-founded, the Department of Zoology in JB College under Dibrugarh University. But my growing up years were actually checkered with the agitation, where the right to self-assertion had seen people like us invariably on the other side of the fence. So it wasn't a very pleasant growing up journey at all during the childhood years. I would often see my parents being continuously returned from the polling booth. They were never able to vote. Somehow, being a native of this country, I felt debarred. I felt devalued as a citizen. So the whole idea of citizenship always brewed in my mind. And that is why probably this migration, despite being a valedictorian at the university, when I went to get my name written in the employment exchange, they point blank refused. And even that time, the coveted post was that of agricultural extension officer. These few people who were sitting on the interview board outrightly said that they would never take me. And that made me, I had very little money. That money was through scholarship. And my father, who had turned a little schizophrenic by that time because of the agitation kind of giving, unleashing it's a little violent and abusive fangs on him as a teacher. So I wasn't left with any other alternative but to board a train with all my scholarship money and come to Delhi. I landed up with an organization called AWARD, Association for Voluntary Agencies in Rural Development. This organization was started by Jayaprakash Narayan. Of course, he needs no introduction. I joined it. This organization was almost dead by then, but I joined it, and I joined it at a meager salary of 3,000 rupees. No, let me correct myself, salary of 4,000 rupees. They asked me what would I expect. I said 3,000, and the boss very proudly declared, we'll give you 4,000. So that is how I began my journey. And that journey for the next 2 years would be traveling. My first day began with sitting into a battered Maruti 800 car. This car was being driven by somebody called Sanjay Ghosh, who I never knew about. But as I was getting into the car and we were driving to meet Mr. P. Chidambaram, because this was going to be a meeting to declare Majuli as the World Heritage, at least make an effort to declare Majuli as the World Heritage Site. As we were driving, he told me two things. There is no shortcut to experience, and much of that experience would come from traveling. And that meant for the next 2 years, I would travel, sitting in the last bogie of all these trains, often unreserved, often also near the bathrooms of the trains, and finally going to all places in 5 different states of North India, homestaying in villages, homestaying at the panchayat leader's house often, where there would be no semblance, and also in houses where there would be no semblance of washrooms. Nature's claw would often be in the open. But that was the time when I found that everything that I studied in the textbooks, in the schools, in the colleges, in the university had to be closed, had to be thrown away. That was the time when I thought that everything had to be unlearned. Unfortunately, this mentor of mine, Sanjay Ghosh, was abducted and killed in Majuli, the largest riverine island of the world, in Assam near Jorhat. And that was the point when two things happened. My worldview shaped towards social work, and I also found that the world was definitely not a fair place. And that was the time when Assam also woke to a reality, and that was the time when Ulfa's downhill began from there on. Nevertheless, I switched jobs. I came to this wonderful institution called the National Foundation for India. It had very many leaders, leaders from the corporate, from businesses, from politics, so we had Dr. Swaminathan, MS Swaminathan, whom all of us would know, and as the food revolution, as the green revolution person, Dr. C. Subramaniam and Dr. Kamla Chaudhary. So all three of them would have started this organization. The rest 21 years of my life, I only spent in seeding and nurturing organizations, social enterprises in every nook and corner of the country, especially in the Northeast. And I went back to Northeast because this was the lesson that I learned, that I cannot hate the very place where I was nurtured. So there could be only individuals who would have been different towards me, who would have been discriminating towards me, but I need to give more towards the place. I know that flora and fauna has not done anything bad to me. I need to go back. I need to give. So that is what made me, and I had fantastic friends out there. It was during NFI that I also got married, and I got married to a native Okhomia from Assam, and that is what I was telling Professor Kotoki. That was the time when I also joined IIT Delhi, and I think it was 1999 December. After an interview, I joined the CRDT, the Center for Rural Development and Technology. I was wanting to do something about the women who had come into leadership roles in the rural areas. And I wanted to look at their leadership, their role conflicts, and the leadership challenges they were facing. I had fantastic guidance through Dr. Dilbag Kaur and Professor Ravinder Kaur. This was so I was also simultaneously completing my work, traveling to villages. And during the second trimester of my pregnancy, I traveled to Madhya Pradesh, stayed put in the villages of 2 districts, Raisen and Betul, completed my field level data collection work, came back, and I used my maternity leave to complete my thesis, to do all my analysis. And in 2003, in record 3.5 years, I did put up my thesis, also defend my thesis, and put that to the IIT in 2003 August. Yeah, since then it has been a journey. Just 2 years later, I got an opportunity to avail a fellowship, and I went to the London School of Economics. This time to blend all the theory, all the practice that I was seeing through seeding social enterprises, and trying to blend that into theory. And that is where the Center for Civil Society in London School of Economics, I had Professor Jude Hall guiding me there. It was a terrific experience. And since then, there has been no looking back, Gitanjali. Last year, I also co-founded an organization in the Northeast. I started working in a social enterprise myself, and in the last 2 months, I have joined the Interglobe Foundation as its head, which is the foundation, which is the enterprise, as you know, is uh, uh, a conglomerate of 6 businesses, including the Indigo Airlines and the Ibis Hotels. So that is where the journey, and yeah, if there is anything. And of course, in my entire life journey, I think 2 or 3 things are very important, and I would keep that as principal elements throughout my work, which is inclusion, which is gender, and which is institution strengthening. I'll stop here as of now.
Thank you so much, Dr. Banerjee. And I remember visiting IHC and coming to NFI, so National Foundation for India, and that time you were heading it. So I could see the work NFI did under your dynamic leadership. Yes, wonderful work that you did. Yes. And you again, like Professor Ritu just highlighted her story, again, a story full of challenges and how you overcome. And like you had, like you got, both of you like got married, and being a research scholar, and the same story, like I could like, I so much relate myself, because I also got married while I was doing my PhD. And I really know how difficult it is. But then both of you like have been at the top in your field. So amazing, amazing. And I'm sure the alums who are actually being, well, right now, who are like having a go at this session, they are like so much inspired. And I can like see a lot of your time are seniors also who are here, and you must be knowing Mrs. Jyotsna Bareja. Then we have Professor Mohan with us and Professor Jassal, and I am sure that they are relating with your journey. And I would like specifically like ask you about your stay again at IIT Delhi. What were some of the learnings from this institute which like support, like helped you in your work and also your research? Things that you like picked up from IIT?
I think it was a journey that was very hectic, because I was combining work and travel with my PhD here. But it was also great fun, because I could align my work. At that time, I had actually taken up this entire work on trying to address the aspects of leadership in Madhya Pradesh, and that work had aligned with my PhD topic. But what happened is the space that I got to get into a discursive space with my professors. So whether it was Professor Ravinder Kaur or whether it was Dilbag Kaur, and how we could exchange a lot of notes about what we were doing and how things would turn up with regards to gender, what were the challenges, how we would kind of look towards having a collective address for those challenges. So, work-life balance, things like that, how tumultuous their own journeys have been. So all this kind of fed into my own work and also shaped my worldview a lot. I gained very much, and I think the fun aspect was also I did not stay in any hostel. Delhi was my home. I had brought my parents by then, so I used to commute from West Delhi to and some of the classes would begin as early as 7 a.m. And I remember I would start at 6. I learned driving. I too had a battered Maruti 800 then. This was early 1999, and late 1999. And I would remember I would enter through the rear gate, which is near Munirka. So, and after a few days, I would often see, since I would have to do some of the classes with master students, so all these boys would be standing near that gate, and Didi, saath mein le chalo. So wahan se wahan tak, I mean, till the class, it would invariably be in that battered Maruti 800. I have carried some 10 to 12 so-called chote bache. I mean, they would all call me Didi, and I was so happy to be their Didi. And once I said कि इसकी गाड़ी की जो टायर है वो ऐसे नीचे दब जाएगी ना, सबके हॉस्टल में जाके हर दिन का एक-एक लंच मैं लूंगी. So yet they would sit again next morning, Didi. So people, they would just stand there. So I still relive those days. I relive those memories actually. So it was great fun. Yeah.
Last question. Your advice to the students who are like the students right now, and students who've just graduated, like who've just become alums. So any particular advice, specific advice for those who are from the social sector, social services sector, researchers
think-
and
Yeah. I would say just don't give up. बहुत challenges आएंगे और ये तो बहुत coveted institution है, बहुत अच्छी जगह में है. You must feel very protected, very safe. But outside of the institution, the real challenges would begin then. And let me tell you, the world is not a fair place, not a fair place at all. So and for women, it the unfairness only extends a little more. Each would have their own set of challenges, but never ever give up. Two things are very important which I have learned from my own journey in life. I think women, come what may, we are often lauded for being in a supportive role and pushing men to their successes. And then how, because we are lauded, we often are kind of conditioned into believing that this is the role for us, being in that supportive role. But no, I would say the sky is the limit. Never ever leave the opportunity to become financially autonomous. Financial autonomy is a must. Having your agency, having your own voice is absolutely important. उसके लिए अगर आपको थोड़ा सा emotionally autonomous भी होना होगा तो जरूर होइए. But please do not give up on the opportunity of being financially autonomous. However well-to-do families you get married into, however well-to-do families you come from, but please do not leave that opportunity. Come what may, be always financially autonomous.
Thank you so much, Dr. Monica Banerjee. And here I would like to share, Dr. Banerjee, that IIT Delhi Alumni Association has we have a small MOU with the Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. Again, IIT Delhi is the coordinating institute. So since you are from CRDT, so Professor Vijay is coordinating the initiative, and we have just launched an initiative with of IITD, CRDT, and Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. It is each one uplift one. So there we'll be having like work with the villages. So if you could like support us in having few rural internships, so if you could like support some of those for some students, then some of the certificate courses we are like trying to launch. So you could be like part of them with your experience. And also this we would be like having a global conclave. So we would definitely hope that you could like be part of all those three activities that we are undertaking under the each one uplift one initiative. So thank you so much, Dr. Banerjee, and I'll be in touch with you for that. Thank you. So now I am very pleased to introduce Mrs. Pooja Arun Kumar, MSc Mathematics 1998 batch. So welcome, Mrs. Kumar. And she has a master's in mathematics from IIT Delhi. She has close to 20 years of experience with a decade as a software consultant in the IT services industry and another 9+ years in the corporate training and leadership development space. She enjoys facilitating workshops for corporate clients using insights from theater, appreciative inquiry, and real life storytelling with a focus to unlock individual potential and improve organizational performance. She is a certified executive coach with the ICF accredited program with Grow More Avenues and has over 100 coaching hours under her belt. She takes care of the leadership development function at AMSINITY. Her strength lies in effectively using her multiple skills in a myriad of roles. And she works in areas such as effective communication, emotional intelligence, managerial and personal effectiveness, executive coaching, excellence, team building, diversity, and inclusivity. As a mother of two, she attributes a lot of her insights and learning to her. Again, something which I am sure many of us could relate to. So welcome, Mrs. Kumar, and I would request you first to share your journey.
Thank you, Dr. Gitanjali, and Thank you to the participants. Thank you to the Professor Ritu and Dr. Monica and the guests here. It was lovely to hear your journeys, and frankly, I was feeling a bit out of place. There are all professors and PhD people here. Maybe even the guests are PhD. I'm the only one. So
No. Please don't say that.
so, and I did not come with any preparation or anything in my mind, but I saw myself making my little notes. Okay, so just telling you a little bit about myself. And I heard Professor Ritu and Dr. Monica's journey, and I was telling myself I have had it fairly easy. I do not have, I have not had any major obstacles in my life. And I grew up in Lucknow, like Professor Ritu. I was in Loreto Convent, Lucknow, went on to La Martiniere, and then left home and came to Delhi University, was in LSR, P.D. Shriram, did my maths honors. Frankly, I was a little lost. I just knew I loved the subject, but I didn't know to what extent I wanted to take it. And then after my graduation in LSR, I wanted to come back home. I had thought I'll do my postgrad in, in economics or statistics, but, I got into IIT and I landed up there back again in Delhi. So again, this whole thing of, I didn't want to go into academics. And I was a little lost at that time. So I'm going to take on the question that you'll ask me at the end, that any advice to the students. One advice would be that it's okay to be a little confused. It's okay to be a little lost. And if you don't know your path at that time, maybe when you're 18, 20, sometimes even now at this age, past 40, I feel, which is the best way to go. So, which is okay. I think it's important to embrace that and not fight the confusion that sometimes life decisions pose. Anyway, I didn't want to go into academics, so I was just wondering what's the best way to go. And then the good thing is that there are campus recruitments in IIT, all campuses. And when I heard about that, I jumped at it. There was lots of companies which would come, and everybody on campus was free to sit for those interviews. And I got my first job as a software engineer with Tata Infotech. It was later merged into Tata Consultancy Services. That was this was in my third semester. There were 4 sems. So I got that job and I just couldn't believe it, because here I was, didn't know what to do, and I had landed up a job. And that's when the journey started into the IT industry. So frankly, again, answering your question to how did IIT help me in my journey? I think IIT was the starting point. It was at IIT that I got, a sense of the path I wanted to take. I spent about a decade in the IT industry. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. There was ample money. There was lots of different kind of roles. And obviously the IIT, the stamp added a lot of value to me as a person. I did fairly well. I went on to work at Wipro and then spent about 6 years at iFlex, which is now Oracle Financial Services. At that point, this was around 2006. Right now, the entire world is working from home. At that time, I went to the HR. I was at Oracle, and I made at that time a path-breaking statement to them, and I told them, I want to work from home because I've got a baby coming and I love my job. At that time, I had moved into a managerial role. I was handling teams, and the HR then said that, we're sorry, we can't set a precedence. You will be the first person ever being offered this I said, I might be, and it might be a good precedence. So let me, speak to my boss and my super boss and then come back to HR. So I did that, and everybody in my in the hierarchy agreed, other than the human resources, and they said, no, we are sorry, we cannot let you work from home. And they gave me a lot of perks. They gave me leave without pay. They were very, very supportive. But I had asked them for 4-5 years of working in office and the rest of the working from home. That didn't work out. And that was I told myself, I rather quit this high pressure job than be under stress and be away from the baby for so long. And while I was in the process of my last few months of saying bye to Oracle, there was a close friend who worked in the theater industry, and he ran a HR consulting firm. And he sent me his HR consulting firm profile, and he said, just look at it and see where you fit in. Now, I've had this horrible discussion with the HR, and they have been one of the reasons why I was quitting. So I looked at it and I said, sorry, anything related to HR, and I'm not even going close. And I have no experience. My education is mathematics, computer science. And I said, no. So then he said, okay, well, let's meet for coffee. And that's when he made me realize that I would probably fit in the training and development industry. And he said, I am ready to take the risk on you. His name is Tarun Kochar. And he said, I'm ready to take the risk on you. Why don't you join us? I was that time in Bangalore, and his company is called Carpedium. And that was the beginning of another journey into leadership development, people, transformative kind of role that I went into. So that's where that transition happened. So again, one advice right away to the younger crowd, that sometimes life will present, certain, forks in your path. And that's the time you want to pause and reflect and decide that, would you like to take that fork, the road less traveled, or you would like to, just maintain status quo. When I moved into leadership development, I had to hear a lot of, okay, you're from IIT and mathematics, and you're going into training. This doesn't make sense. But there was a gut feeling. Also, the interest and the courage that Tarun showed in me, that was very helpful. So in the last,
anything special from your IIT stay? So I am sure that you were not a hostler then. You must be.
I was a hostler.
Okay.
hostler.
So
I was at Kailash.
Okay.
So anything special? One special that I found my life partner in IIT. So Amit Utreja, he was doing his BTech from there. And so that was one special thing. The other special thing, that I could hone my theater skills at IIT. So I was part of the theater club.
Maths and theater, people like me from DU can relate so much.
Yeah.
I am from Uganda.
Right.
Like
So,
the story you told, that not very sure, confused. So I had a lot of friends who, like, from mathematics, computer science, they were like, yaar, ab kya karenge?
kya karenge?
And then coming to IIT. So
yeah,
something common there also.
Okay,
Your favorite faculty members? Your favorite faculty members from IIT?
I think Professor Amitabh Tripathi stands out. Dr. Kundu, these were people we were very scared of, and complex analysis, real analysis, and but I'm still in touch with Professor Tripathi. Another person who stands out very sharply in my memory, I'm still in touch with, is DNC, Dr. Dipankar Nath Chaudhary. He was an elect professor far away from where I was in terms of, our departments, but I used to teach mathematics to his son. and DNC and his wife Uttara Nagchaudhary, they used to pay me. It was a big deal because then I could cross the road, go to Rainbows, eat and all that. And when I used to go for tuitions to teach Pratik, they would feed me dinner or lunch or whatever. So it was a big deal. So I have absolutely brilliant, fond memories about and from IIT. I think I truly discovered myself there. And it's been a beautiful journey. Even today in my job, in my work in leadership development space, at any point I need any help, I reach out to the WhatsApp groups of IIT, I reach out to the alumni, and within minutes, things are rolling. The networking camaraderie is so solid. In fact, one of my first clients, when I started off my own company in leadership development, one of my first clients was a friend from IIT Delhi. And he was the one who gave me the first project. So there's enough and more. I can go on and on, but in the interest of time, Dr. Gitanjali, I hand it back to you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Kumar. Wonderful. And you've covered most of my questions. Right. So I would just tell you that we have a small MOU again with the Career Services, IITD. So we also organize workshops for students who are like students of IIT Delhi. So they're like personality development, then communication skills. So I think we would like to invite you in future for one of those sessions with the students. So please,
absolutely, that'll be my pleasure. That'll be my absolute pleasure, because if I can give back one drop to my alma mater, which has given me so much, that would be the least I can do. So thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Kumar. And now coming back to Professor Ritu. So ma'am, very, very inspiring session from you. And like, I would like to share that next month we have this UNESCO's World Faculty Day. So on that occasion, we are also planning Alumni Faculty Fest. So hopefully, so we would like to have you on panel for that. Because we just heard you have such contribution you have given as an academician, as a scientist, and then also an entrepreneur. So ma'am, it would be our pleasure to have you as a panelist also there. And there are some other competitions that we are planning. So ma'am, I would again come back to you, and we are sure, we are hopeful that you will devote some time for supporting us for that.
Thank you. Yes, definitely. I would love to support women in academics in STEM subjects in any way. Thank you.
Because there we are thinking of having a session with the global faculty. So,
yes, that would be excellent. Yeah.
So I'll be I'll get back to you with the details and with the specific request for you. So once again, I thank all the three panelists, Professor Ritu, Dr. Banerjee, Mrs. Kumar. It was wonderful to have you, and I am very sure the way I am feeling so enthusiastic, so much inspired after hearing you, all those who have been with us, who are watching us live on Facebook, and also who would have a go at this recording. I'm sure they will definitely enjoy this session. So I'll take up some questions if somebody wants to have a question to any one of these panelists. The participants, they're welcome to have a question. Anybody has a question? So any of the participants, they could just write the question in the Q&A, and I'll put the question to the panelist. But it was wonderful having all three of you, and we would definitely have you involved with the activities that we are doing with the association right now. So I can see one from Mr. Let me promote him to the panelist. so he can ask his question. So, Mr. Are you here with us? You can ask your question. I just promoted you as a panelist. Mr. Thareja? I can also see our president, Mr. Kalpen Shukla, who is with us, and I would like that he can add few points. Mr. Shukla, welcome. Welcome, Mr. Kalpen Shukla, President IIT Delhi Alumni Association. So he is representing 54,000 of us. So any specific pointers, President?
No. I'm thankful to all of you. I'm sorry I could not join you in the beginning because I had some other engagement, but I'm very happy to see this going so well. I must tell you some very interesting story about how we inspire the women power. In fact, yesterday only I saw a very interesting LinkedIn post about two women entrepreneurs who have set up a mall for animals. That is for online auction of cattle.
Oh.
And this is something very unusual for IITD, particularly women graduates, to think of such a unique space. And I decided to repost that on the LinkedIn, and they were both happy that in 24 hours, there were nearly 3,500 views to their entire activity. In fact, it was, of course, published by Forbes first, and I just reposted that Forbes note. But we would be very happy to hear such inspiring stories from women entrepreneurs. We would be very happy to promote you. So we'll make special efforts to ensure that you get more than your due in terms of getting attention from the community that you want to reach out to. Rest assured, the Alumni Association is a very powerful platform, and I encourage everyone, and I wish everyone leverages it to advantage, of course, for the society, for the institute, for the alumni, and by all means for personally to gain some knowledge, expertise, and networking effect. So please continue with this kind of efforts. We are very happy to see this unique initiative going forward. In fact, as soon as Dr. Gitanjali mentioned that she would like to name it as She Inspires, I said title itself is very inspiring. And therefore, we would be very keen to hear more such stories, more such participants, more panelists. And I request all of you to ensure that this momentum is not lost. We would love to continue with it and would like to add some more value to it as we go forward. Thank you very much. And I'm very happy to see Ritu, Dr. Monica, and Pooja. And I hope you enjoyed your interaction with participants. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, President. And I would just like to share with you that Professor Ritu is from University of Durham, UK. So she specializes in chemistry, and I just requested her that she should support us for the upcoming faculty alumni day.
Welcome. I think you've taken the advantage of the opportunity to invite Professor Ritu. I also extend the same invitation to you, Professor Ritu. Please do join us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Glad to help in any way.
It may be slightly awkward for you in terms of timing, but we'll request you to adjust with us.
Thank you. I'll do that. I'll try my best to do that.
Yeah. Dr. Banerjee is from CRDT, and she has been in leadership role, and she's specialist in this social sector. So I was just requesting her to be part of our Each One Uplift One initiative that we are doing with Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. So
that's honestly, again, Dr. Gitanjali's brainchild, but I'm personally very gung-ho about it. Each one uplift fund is actually aimed at trying to add some value at the grassroots level, particularly in the rural environment. And therefore, as you know, CRDT is our focal point, and IIT Delhi is the coordinating institute. So maybe this year we'll try to add some value to 25 villages where we'll try to send some IIT Delhi students as sponsored candidates. And we'll try to ensure that we give them local support through our bureaucratic contacts. But our entire purpose is to ensure that we work at the local problems, convert them into projects, find some solution, and put our entire association strength to find out whether we can solve these problems and create some local economic upliftment of the residents there. So Dr. Monica, we will continue to interact with you on different occasions also.
Sure.
We are happy to be associated with CRDT. I mean,
Thank you.
Dr. Vijay has been so very kind and very responsive to all our requests.
I'm sure he has.
And Mrs. Kumar has extended her support for our Sarthi campaign.
Sorry, your voice is low, Dr. Gitanjali.
Yeah, Mrs. Kumar she is into like coaching. Then she also specializes in coaching for communication skills, personality development. So I requested her for a session under Sarthi.
I wish to take one more minute for Pooja also. Actually, I being a management graduate, I must honestly say that I think technical skills, we are really very well placed. But when it comes to some of those soft skills, which are really critical in terms of growing in career and doing well in the profession, probably communication is one single skill which stands out as a bugbear for large number of IIT graduates. And IIT Delhi is not just one institute, but I can assure you, communication is something which really affects the confidence of the candidate. So irrespective of the other skills, even if the person is very good, he or she will probably not get his or her due in the corporate world or otherwise when the communication is missing. So I would request you to design some modules which we can possibly introduce, and we'll be very happy to get you volunteers if you wish to, and we'll try to ensure that at least our IIT Delhi alumni should be well-rounded in terms of hard skills, soft skills, technical skills, and a little bit of management skills. I think it could be wonderful value addition to them.
True. Sure, I'll be very happy to help. I was telling Dr. Gitanjali, thanks for the opportunity.
So we would love to. I mean, we'll take your more time now.
Sure. We'll get started on discussions, and then let's see how best we can create something and get it rolling.
Agreed.
So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And my very supportive president has given a go ahead for this series. She inspires. So once again, I thank all the panelists, esteemed panelists who were with us, the participants, and the others who would be having a look at this recording. So thank you so much, everyone. And I will definitely get back to the panelists for support in the future. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
We'll close now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for sparing your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.